Shakur Stevenson says that he's accomplished more than Gervonta Davis has in the sport of boxing. And honestly, I'm not mad at him for, making that claim, for making that point, but we also have to remember that Tank he's that cash cow in the sport of boxing. There's no doubt about it. Like, I personally, I feel like I have a biased view because I'm always getting excited to watch guys like Tank and Shakur, but when Tank fights, it's a different level of excitement. It's like, oh my, you can't miss that. I feel like Shakur, as good as he is, like, you can turn the TV on and it'll be the 4th round. You can kind of assume that Shakur is doing his thing, you know what I mean? So, like, Tank is like a fight that you can't miss because it could end in the 2nd round, it could end in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Like, you really don't know what you're gonna get with Tank. That's why it's so exciting. It's so, like, intriguing to watch a Tank fight. So, as good as Tank is, I'm not mad at Shakur for saying that, he's more accomplished in the sport of boxing when it comes to fighting people, when it comes to the best opposition in his weight class. Because, Shakur at 26, what Shakur did at 30, you can't take away anything from, everything he's accomplished. So, clearing out those weight classes and then, moving on to 35 where he's having success and he's already a big name in it. So I'm not mad that Shakur believes that he's done more in the sport of boxing when it comes to beating out the top guys in his weight class, because Tank has fought guys, as well. He's fought a lot of big names, but I think that Shakur Stevenson, he's had some good fights. He's fought Oscar Valdez, Jamel Herring, obviously, but that De Los Santos fight wasn't his best outing that we've ever seen. So ultimately, we have to see him back and performing against credible opposition, and we'll see what he does in July. Obviously, he has his fight coming up real soon, and Keyshawn Davis is going to be on that undercard, so it should be a good event. But ultimately, I don't know if he has the better resume. Tank has guys like Leo Santa Cruz, Mario Barrios, Rolly Romero. Maybe that's not the most credible name. He has Ryan Garcia. So there are a lot of guys that both guys have fought. Tank's also fought Pedraza, so another big name. So, Isaac Cruz, it's hard to say because, you have guys like Isaac Cruz that have allegedly ducked fighting a guy like Shakur. So, like, I'm not even mad about that. I can't blame someone for not wanting to fight Shakur Stevenson, especially if you're a guy like Isaac Cruz, because it's a tough stylistic matchup. Isaac Cruz is a very come forward fighter as opposed to Shakur, who's very intent on, hitting you and not getting hit. And that's the Floyd Mayweather effect. It's that understanding that, I need to hit you and then dodge your best shot. Some guys like to take shots to get shots. Guys like Shakur won't do that. They're too smart, they're too intelligent, it's too much risk, and I respect that. I think that guys like Shakur understand how important it is to protect your faculties and to make sure that you're not taking a lot of punishment in that ring, because the less punishment you take, the longer you're going to last in the sport. That's something that Floyd Mayweather has always said, and I think it's been passed down to guys like Shakur. I think it's been passed down to guys like Devin Haney, even though Devin Haney took that fight against Ryan Garcia and took a hellacious beating. I still think that Devin Haney's understanding of boxing hasn't changed. I think it's almost been reinforced. He had to learn that and learn the hard way against a guy like Ryan Garcia, and I think now he's going to be more cautious than he's ever been. And this can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. It's all about balance. You need that level of understanding the range, but at the same time you can't be gun shy as well. You have to be willing to land yours, be first and last in exchanges, because if you're not, the likelihood of you getting caught with a punch in between, is very likely. That's how you get stopped, is being too slow to the punch and not being able to pull the trigger. So I hope Devin Haney doesn't become one of those fighters. When a fighter takes a beating like the beating he took against Ryan Garcia, a lot of fighters tend to become gun shy. Their confidence isn't as strong as it used to be, and I just hope Devin's not victim to that, because he is a talent. He's definitely one of the better boxers in the sport. He's very elite. It's just when dealing with power like that, he had no answer for it, and it was very apparent in that Ryan Garcia fight. So we'll see what happens with Devin Haney, obviously, but for Shakur Stevenson and Tank, I really do think that that's a big fight at 35. I always say that if it's not Vasily Lomachenko and Tank, if it's not Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur and Tank gotta fight each other, because who else is there at 35 that they're really gonna get credit for beating? Otherwise, they might as well move up to 40 and fight guys like Isaac Cruz, Teofimo Lopez, Regis Prograis, maybe Devin Haney. But you guys can't fight anybody else, because you're realistically not gonna get a lot of credit for it. And honestly, if we're being real about it, neither guy should really want to fight Lomachenko at this point in his career, because there's a high level of risk for Shakur to fight Lomachenko, and there's a high level of risk for Tank to fight Lomachenko. So it's a dangerous fight no matter what. For Shakur or Tank to fight Loma, there's a lot of risk. And would they even get a lot of credit? Because let's say Shakur and Tank both beat Lomachenko, they're all going to say that at this point in Loma's career, he was already on the decline. So do you even take that fight anymore? Because honestly, Lomachenko's an athletic southpaw. He loves the angles, and he has fast hands. So it's like, do you really take that risk? Because if you ask me who wins Tank and Lomachenko, I honestly think it's a really competitive fight. For some reason, stylistically, I think that Shakur beats Lomachenko in cleaner fashion, because Tank he's a fighter, you know, like ultimately I know he can box, but I think against a guy like Lomachenko, he would really try to hurt him, and that comes with a lot of risk as well. You know, you don't just go in there and try to, you know, stop a guy like Lomachenko. You're gonna have to pay for it. He's gonna tax you. So like, I just don't, I don't know if Tank would try to box Lomachenko. He's gonna have to box, but at some point we always see Tank get into a brawl, and ultimately, you know, in that brawl, is he going to be able to be first and last, you know, in these exchanges? Because Lomachenko is one of those guys, you know, the last thing to leave is the power. We know that. But I also think that Lomachenko is still as skilled, and he seems still very fast. So it's something that I just still favor Tank. I just think that that's his biggest threat right now. You know, to the throne. You know, I think against a guy like Shakur, for some reason stylistically, I still pick Tank over Shakur, but I think that Shakur beats Loma in cleaner fashion, because I don't expect Shakur to engage the way I expect Tank to engage with Lomachenko. I think Tank just likes to fight a lot, so like he wants to feel Lomachenko's power. Against a guy like Lomachenko, I think Tank would be willing to take one to give one, and I don't think Shakur would do that. So that's a reason why I feel like Shakur would maybe get a clean decision win, and then, you know, Tank would probably get a stoppage win, but it might be a little bit uglier than Shakur's decision win, and that's fine. That's ultimately fine, because styles make fights, and ultimately I still want to see the best fighting the best. So if Shakur and Tank can't fight each other, one of them or both of them should try to fight Lomachenko, because those are big fights for Loma as well. Everybody wins, and ultimately you're setting up that mega fight between Shakur, Stevenson, and Tank. Who doesn't want to see that? I mean, that's the fight at 35 that the fans have been calling for, that we've been calling for a minute now. So I'd love to see it. I'd love to see Shakur, Stevenson, and Tank get it on. I don't know, that's a high IQ chess match. I just think that as good as, you know, Shakur's IQ is, he might even have that better. You know, Floyd Mayweather talked about Shakur being the most skilled fighter at 35, and then Tank probably being the biggest puncher. But as much as, you know, I give Shakur a little bit of an IQ advantage, I feel like that power makes up for that little difference, that little level discrepancy between, you know, Tank and Shakur, because the power really does make up for everything. It serves as that equalizer, you know what I mean? So like, I do like Shakur. I just don't know if he can go 12 rounds without, you know, getting hit with a clean shot. Like he's good against other opponents, don't get me wrong, even against top elite fighters. I just think that Tank has a different way of operating, where it's not so much like, usually Shakur is fighting guys, he feels them out in the first 2 rounds, but if you're fighting Tank, you're not seeing that full version of him until like the 4th, 5th, and 6th round and up, where he starts to unleash. So like you could be gaining confidence in the first 2 rounds, and then Tank starts to faint, he starts to increase his level of reactivity, and then it becomes a lot more difficult to compete with. You know, it's all about those mid to late rounds against a guy like Tank. If Shakur is able to, you know, keep that fire under control and, you know, stay out of those big exchanges with Tank, I think that he could cruise to a decision win. But if he doesn't, you know, there's a good chance that Tank knocks him out as well. So as good as Shakur is, it's just I don't know if I can bet against that Gervonta Tank Davis power. I think it's legit, and, you know, the feints is what I always see, you know, being most effective in Gervonta Davis fights. I always see, you know, at least maybe not in the first few rounds, but in the mid to late in championship rounds, his opponents always begin to bite on all of his feints. And when you're reactive to his feints, that means you believe in the power. And when you believe in the power, most likely you're going to get caught. You're going to, you know, get exploited for something. So I'm curious to see if Shakur is able to hold his own. I know if anyone can, you know, beat a guy like Tank, you know, Shakur is one of those guys. I think Tank could do it. I think T.O. on his best day could give Tank a run for his money, but I still have Tank. I still favor Tank against all those guys just because of the power and the boxing ability. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Shakur, Stevenson, and Tank. Who has the better resume, and who do you guys have? I lean towards Tank because of the power. In terms of the resume, I still have Tank, but Shakur has definitely, you know, done a better job in terms of clearing out the 26-pound weight division and the 30-pound weight division, because even though, you know, Tank has fought great opposition, I'm talking about in their weight class, I think Shakur is, you know, you got to give it to Shakur. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.